So you live in the city of Irvine, you need help with electrical, automotive repair. And why should I go to Francisco's Automotive in Huntington Beach? I'm going to give you multiple reasons why you should drive to Francisco's Automotive. It is not that far. I mean, it's right next door. I give you a ride home. I pick you up. If I keep your car overnight, I rent your car for 1 day. This is my garden. I love my garden. It gives me peace. I'm here between 6 in the morning and 6 at night. So it gives me a lot of peace. Now, let me tell you about electrical. You can't do hardly anything without electrical. You can't do brakes, suspension work, transmissions. Everything is tied to electrical, and everything, cars go into a limp mode very easily, so that you don't waste gas. You got sensors that talk to sensors that talk to sensors. And electrical has to be a specialty. I've been doing electrical since the 80s. In the 70s, I worked on Volkswagen. Volkswagen had mass-produced fuel injection. And you cannot work on fuel injection without knowing electrical. You can't do brakes without knowing electrical. You can hardly do anything. Like I said, cars that park themselves, drive themselves, keep the distance between you and the other one. Nowadays, they're coming up with a car that you can let go of the steering wheel when you're between the trucks. What do you think works this? Sensors, electrical, everything has to be calibrated. The manufacturers have bulletins after bulletins. Hey, we made a mistake. Reflash the computer. Reflash the computer. Before you do a lot of electrical diagnosis problems, the first thing we do is we look to see if the computer has its latest update and the latest reflash. Not only do you have to be qualified to reflash the computer, because if you do it wrong, hey, you're causing the consumer a lot of damage. And if you don't look for it, you can work for 4 or 5 hours when all the car needed was a reflash in the computer. And to reflash the computer, you need the proper equipment. You need the proper on Ford and GM. I pay about $1,000 a year for each one of them. On Chrysler, I pay by the car. On Toyota, I pay by the car to reflash the computer for the manufacturers to give us access. So not only do you have to have the equipment, the knowledge, and when you reflash a computer, you need, this is a battery charger. These are both battery chargers. This is maybe cost me $200-300. This one cost me $1,000. Why would I pay $1,000 for a charger? What kind of businessman am I? Without this, you cannot reflash computers, because this, when you reflash a computer, the voltage has to be, each manufacturer was a certain voltage and it has to stay there. Can't go up, can't go down. If it does, you could run the computer. So that's why you need this. Now, you have, in the old days, we had a breakout box that went between the computer and the wiring harness. And it was called back probing, checking each sensor. Then they gave me a little more knowledge. This is a GM. This is a Ford. This is a GM scanner. This is in the 80s. And then it went into the laptops. A lot of the information is kept on the cloud. I don't know which cloud it is. We have scanners. We have timing lights. Even my battery jumpers, there's just 2 of them. I actually have 3 of them. So you have to have the equipment to move fast. You have to have, these are meters. For those of you that know about meters, this is a Fluke meter. This is mine. I've had it for years, still works. My shop foreman says, we need to buy a new Fluke meter. I said, what's wrong with mine? He goes, nothing. But to do hybrid, we need one that can do different voltages. In other words, what it came down to, $700 later, here I'm able to check voltages on a hybrid. And as soon as I use it, I put it back. I hide it. You have amp probes to check for drop. And you have probes for when you do tire sensors. You need a $600-700 tire sensor to reprogram the new sensors you put on. You can't do nothing without equipment. Air conditioning machines. I got 3 air conditioning machines. One's for hybrid. The other 2 are for just normal cars. You need the equipment, you need the knowledge. The new air conditioning refrigerant, I just ordered a machine. The guy hasn't delivered to me. I ordered 2 months ago. $7,000 machine. But you got to stay ahead of the program, ahead of it. You got to be up with it. The cars are already here. I'm already having problems with the new refrigerant. Now, with that said, you got any electrical problems, you come to Francisco's Automotive. Let me show you a job we're in the middle of doing right now. For us, this is normal. We do this every single day. And so we take a job. A lot of shops refer work like this to me. We take this job and we diagnose it. Diagnose it was quick. He had it somewhere else where it couldn't even be diagnosed. Not only are we qualified to diagnose it, which we did it pretty quickly, had a broken blend door, they call it. And so we're waiting for the part. Once the part gets here, we put it back together. It'll be back together in one day, and everything will work properly, and the customer will have his car. You got any questions? Call me with any of your questions. 714-375-2661. Any automotive questions? You know, you got your car somewhere else. Francisco, what do you think? I'll give you my opinion. You're going to buy a car, you're going to sell a car? Give me a call with any automotive questions. 714-375-2661. Irvine's right next door. Give me a call.